at least mom will be listening.
So if you bring up Counter Stallions, we're just not going to listen to you.
Number one is number one.
1,000 miles away from me.
Hello and welcome to the Faith Sports Leadership Podcast, where we talk about three things: faith, sports, and leadership. My name is Ryan. I'm one of your hosts, joined as always by my brother and co-host from sunny Sarasota, Florida, where right now I'm sitting. It is 9 degrees in northern Indiana, but it is not 9 degrees in Florida. Drew, how are you doing today?
Doing great. I'm sorry the weather's not great for you right now, but it's beautiful down here, so I can't complain.
Yeah, well, speaking of beautiful down in Florida and leaving cold weather, our guest today is going to be heading down to Florida here in the next week or so to go play some cross-conference league play against some top 25 opponents. He is none other than the current Crossroads League Player of the Week, senior at Bethel University, leader and star, and graduate from Northwood High School. Let's see, what else can we get? He's one of my favorite players of all time to watch. I think I've told him that many times. I've told your parents that many times. But friends, I'm so excited to welcome our guest on today's show, senior guard for the Bethel University Pilots men's basketball team, Trent Edwards. Trent, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Like you said, I'm kind of ready to get out of this weather. But other than that, it's been good. It's been a good week. So.
Awesome. Well, we had Coach Draben on the podcast a couple weeks ago when he was the Hoop Dirt coach of the week, and now we have you on the podcast as you're the Crossroads League Player of the Week. And so I think what we're trying to tell people is if you want to get on our podcast, good things are going to happen to you. So you guys are currently sitting at 10-1, ranked number 10 in the country in NAIA basketball, and you're obviously a leader of that team. So it's been fun to watch you guys. How are you feeling right now? Body holding up? You're an old man now, so how you doing?
Yeah, I think coach has called me grandpa like 3 times in the past week or so. But I'm doing good. A little sick here. The weather coming in, but that Florida weather is going to be real nice, help me out. So
there you go. Florida sun, a little Florida orange juice, you'll be all set.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you joining us, listening in, if this is your first time, we keep it pretty simple here. We talk about three things: faith, sports, and leadership, kind of break up the podcast in that way. In this first section, we're talking about faith. And what we're going to do is I'm going to read a Bible verse, and then the three of us are just going to have a quick discussion. I'll read it twice. Then Drew, I'll throw it over to you to see what some of your thoughts are. And then Trent will throw it to you to hear some of your thoughts as well. But this week's verse comes from Deuteronomy, one of the early books in the Bible, Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. And it says this: "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." That's Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. Drew, initially, what are some thoughts there as we head into that discussion?
This verse, I think throughout my life, it's been a good thing to look back through and kind of help me through challenging times, knowing like God goes with us through the situation and whatever it might be. Like you're not in it alone, whether that's losing a family member or a friend or just going through hard things in life in general. Like God goes through it with you and you don't have to walk alone. And that's kind of the great thing about God. He's always with you no matter what. So initial thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Trent, what about you? What are some thoughts?
Yeah, I'd have some similar takeaways from that. I think this is a verse you kind of grow up with. You hear it a lot as a kid, going to Bible school and stuff like that. I think specifically I've applied this to my basketball journey. Just, in the first couple of years, kind of debating whether I'm at the right spot or not. And just kind of trusting God through that he's been with me. He's been there the entire time. So
yeah, that's good. You both have been through adversity throughout your playing careers and whatnot. So it was interesting when the Lord put this verse on my heart for you guys as well. And so we'll continue on now. That was our faith section. We'll head on to the sports section, and Drew, we'll let you kind of take the lead with this part.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Northwood legend right here in our presence. So tell us, Ryan and I know about Indiana high school basketball, but for our fans that don't know, Northwood, you get the whole town there, all the old people come, the horse and buggy, all that. So tell us a little bit about Northwood basketball, maybe some memories from that as well.
Yeah, I think there's a big history there. We've had quite a few players come from Northwood and go NAIA. We had a couple at Taylor and then Grace, I think, a few years ago. But it's just a storied program. Actually, today I'm going to the Westview game. It's our coach's 300th win tonight, so pretty big, yeah. So he's been there for a while. You know, a lot of guys respect him, and I think that's the coolest part about it. Just having a coach that I can kind of see as a leader, kind of like a father figure for me. That I can take that with me to college, and then he's still bringing people back. I think they sent a text out, and probably in the first 30 minutes, 10 guys had already responded like, "Hey, we'll be there." So just a lot of respect for that program and for the coaches there. So
yeah, Coach Wolf is a good dude. Even I would go up work out in Northwood because I had a friend, Caden Gong, who was going in that school system, and he was always in the gym and working dudes out, and just seemed like guys would come back even if they're in college and just really love him and respect him. So that's cool. And then you end up at Bethel. Was it Coach Draven's first year?
So it was actually his second. So
Second. Okay.
Yeah. So I was getting recruited a little bit by Ryan, and then it kind of flipped over to Draven. So
yeah, what Bethel, how'd you end up there? And then what maybe some other schools you're considering, or what was that process like for you?
yeah, so a lot of the schools I was considering were in AIA. So Taylor was a big one. I had some cousins who had gone there and had a good experience. And then Manchester was another one who was recruiting me pretty hard for basketball purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But Bethel just really felt like home. It was 30 minutes away. It was close. Both my parents had actually gone there, and then my grandparents as well. So kind of a third generation thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just felt like the right place for me. I liked the way that they played basketball. I enjoyed the coaching staff, and I didn't get to know Draven quite as well beforehand as I would have liked to, just because of the whole COVID year and everything.
Yeah.
But I had to put a lot of faith in God and in the program, and so it ended up working out.
Yeah. No, I think the growth I've seen from you, even when I got there, and I've heard from guys, it's just been so cool. Like each year, confidence as a leader and all that. It's been awesome. One of my favorite memories with you was when we were in Dominican and just seeing how you were loving on those kids, leading our guys. It was just, your heart was just so genuine, and just so that was one of my favorite memories with you in our time playing together, not even really on the court, even though I love playing with you on the court and stuff. So that was a really cool experience. Talk a little bit about maybe that Dominican trip, or kind of what that did for our team, our culture, and just all that stuff.
Yeah, I have a really big passion for missions trips like that, especially the kids down there. I'd actually gone there to the exact same spot before. I got a picture with a kid I'd been with before. So that was just a really cool moment for me. They love basketball down there. They love seeing us play. So it was cool to see how they looked up to us and had an impact on us. And not only that we had on the kids, teaching them about the gospel and about Jesus, but what they had on us. You come back and you look around and you're like, man, I have a lot going for me.
Yeah.
So you go over and you come back, and then once you're back, you kind of sit and you're like, man, I can finally digest this trip a little bit, and you realize that you got a lot to be grateful for. We get the opportunity to play basketball in a country where we're free. Get food on our tables. We know where it's coming from, and a lot of those kids don't get that opportunity. So it's just a chance to not only have an impact on them, but kind of reprioritize your life. So
for sure. Yeah, no, that trip was awesome for me, and I know it was for you as well. What are some favorite memories of like on court Bethel basketball for you?
I think one of my favorite ones, probably my freshman year, going to the Sweet 16 tournament, beating number one IU or IWU. It was kind of funny. Draven put up on the board this last week, like the amount of days since we'd beaten them, and it had been since that tournament.
Oh.
So it's just a cool experience, kind of to see how that progressed. And then just kind of the guys that I've played with the past couple of years, you included, especially these last 2 years, it's been cool to have more of a family kind of vibe. Whereas my, freshman, sophomore years, it was a little bit the team culture was a little bit rocky. And I think, like you said, that DR trip really helped our culture kind of grow us closer together as well. So I'd say on the court, just kind of the guys I've played with.
For sure.
It's been great kind of getting a family around you, kind of a built-in family at college. You're away from home. But yeah, it's been a neat experience.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's really neat. Like, some guys ask me about Bethel and just like, I don't know, just their team in general. And like, even going into the year, they're like, will they be as good without you and Nate? And I'm like, they're gonna be good. They're gonna surprise a lot of people. And then you guys were picked a lot lower than you should have been.
Yeah, we were picked seventh, and I think that's been a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. So
yeah, and I'm like, these dudes can hoop. I mean, we had so many guys. You guys have so many guys back, and then you added some good pieces, and just you guys are gonna keep making noise. So I'm proud of you guys for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Since you first got to Bethel, and then now, what's something you've been learning in your time?
Something Rev George is here. Something I've kind of learned over my time here is just be patient, work hard. My freshman, sophomore year were struggles. Like I said, we kind of had some guys who weren't team based, who weren't quite with the culture. And I debated a lot of the times, like, man, is this really for me? Do I really want to keep playing college ball? At the end of the day, I decided to. I don't like quitting. And I wanted to finish out my time here. I was like, man, I got 4-5 years. I get to play college basketball until I'm done, pretty much. So I decided to stick it out, and I think that's been the biggest takeaway. Like, don't quit too soon, but also know when your time is up. Like, I'm coming towards the end of my career now, and I'm like, all right, now my my body's starting to wear down a little bit.
Yeah.
But just the patience that it's taught me has been a big takeaway. Like, work hard and be patient, and you're gonna achieve a lot of your goals. So
I'll add real quick as my buddy Judah joins us as well. That's one thing that stuck out. Like, when I think it was probably my first year as the character coach at Bethel. So that would have been your third season at Bethel. Drew's first year there. And I told your dad and your mom, or both of them, they're all awesome people. I was like, Trent's one of my favorite players to watch. And it was early in the season. That was kind of, you were battling some injuries and you weren't getting a ton of playing time necessarily in games, but at practices, like, you were epitomizing what perseverance looks like, whether it was trying to get back from an injury as quickly as possible and be as healthy as possible. And, but also just like your headstrongness of like, there's a couple transfers that came in that might've taken some minutes away from you, but you're still going to push hard in practice. And it paid off for you in the end as you guys win a NCCA national championship. You guys make the NAIA tournament, and then you look at where you are now and just the perseverance that you've had throughout your career, even dating back to high school at Northwood, is really starting to pay off as you see it on the court now. But it's even going to more pay off as you enter into whatever's next, whether it's in the workforce, whether it's as a husband, as a dad. Like, man, the perseverance that you show is absolutely admirable for me. Like, I look up to you and the perseverance that you have. And so if those of you listening, if you haven't watched Trent Edwards play, it's like poetry in motion, because he's so smooth and has this pivots down that will just frustrate the defense like crazy, sees the floor really well, but also just like your work ethic, your perseverance is absolutely admirable.
Yeah, and I think that's really helped our team and kind of my relationship with Coach. He trusts me a lot now. Actually, against the Holy Cross team this year, I think we had Preston go out that game. And at one point I was sitting on the bench and they went on a little run, and I was just like, "Hey, Coach, I'm going in. Who do you want me to get?" And then he told me who he wanted me to get. So just that trust that I've built up over the last couple of years has helped me too. So it pays off in the end.
That's cool. Yeah, Trent, you don't want to play him one-on-one. He's got that little gets everybody on it. Flips the hips on the crossover. He's a tough guard. So we'll get into a little more serious sports talk real quick. Something I thought really cool from my first year with you to the second year was to see how you blended your faith with basketball as well. What would you say something you've done or something you're trying to do or strive for to blend both basketball and your faith and not just have it be separate,
Yeah, I think a big part of it, the past, especially this year, has been kind of my prayer journey. like I talked about earlier with the DR trip, kind of coming back and just being grateful for the little things that you have. And obviously you can be grateful to play college ball, but it becomes a point where, summer workouts get to be a lot and practices preseason get to be a lot. And so just thanking God every day for the opportunity to play. I think I think everyone kind of has a platform. I think this has been one of mine. So just being an example on and off the court for our guys has been a big point of emphasis for me, and that's kind of how I try and blend sports and faith. I don't have to be super outright, but I have to be leader by example, leader by action. And then another big one I try and implement is just service. I mean, we have managers that help us every single day, are wiping the floors, they're bringing us water. So doing something little for them, like bringing the ball rack out, just little stuff like that I can try and make an impact on our team. So
So you got little Trent Edwards in his backyard shooting hoops, wanting to play college ball at Bethel someday or wherever. What advice would you give to a younger Trent who goes through this journey?
yeah, man, I'd say the first big thing is just be patient. Keep working. I think it was Coach Wolf that would tell me this, but he was like, whenever you don't want to get a workout in, whenever you're not feeling like it, like there's always someone else in the gym. There's always someone else who's willing to put in that extra bit of work. So I would just encourage you guys to get in, to be consistent, build that consistency early, because in the long run it's going to help. And then just be bold too. Like, be confident in yourself and your abilities. You don't have to play the way that everyone else plays. Like, I don't. This game is a lot about shooting threes, and kind of that's how a point guard should play. And I've never really been a great shooter, so I kind of figured out my own way to play, played at my own pace, and did the things that I was best at really good. And that's kind of how I got to the spot I am now. So,
Yeah, I don't know if Trent Edwards has ever missed a mid-range shot, right? It's like Sean Livingston. Um, all right. Well, let's get into our leadership section. Trent, obviously a leader of the Bethel Pilots, and um, he's been doing a great job of it. I've seen it myself, but even hearing from Coach and guys this year, just the step you've taken, and I think part of that's the confidence and trust that you talked about. But through your journey, how have you found ways to lead regardless of your position or title?
Yeah, like I kind of talked about, like freshman sophomore year was a little bit of a struggle. I didn't really know how to lead. I was kind of a little bit quieter guy on and off the court. I kind of always have been. So especially these last 3 years, I think I've grown quite a bit in this aspect. I think the leadership team that Coach Draben has set up with a couple guys has really helped me. Not just like growing from a team aspect, but like he really strives to create good men, good leaders, and I think that's what I like most about him. So I think that's a big part of how I've grown in my leadership, and I've just tried to find the way that I lead best. So if that's by example, which it is in my case, that's kind of what I try to do. So that's coming to work or practice, every day, working hard, just bringing consistent energy, consistent effort, and then just continuing to, encourage guys around me. So that might not be, some people on our teams are a little bit more vocally driven, in my case, it's more action. So I come and I try and show it through that. So
Mm-hmm. That leadership group was really cool. I think our first year, I don't think we took it as serious as maybe we should have, but that second year we definitely took it more serious, and I think it really helped because we were bought in with that.
yeah, I think it really helped feed into our culture, and it pushed us to lead, just those leaders, 4 or 5 guys, but then it encouraged the people around us, our own teammates, to kind of lead in their own example. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's something you're learning, whether it's through those sessions or just and life in general about leadership today?
I think one of the big things that I'm learning is that kind of what I was talking about before, that everyone kind of leads in their own way. So the same way I was like, you gotta kind of play to your own strengths, your own tempo. I think you gotta lead in the same way. Like, I think it's cool. Coach Draven always starts it off like, people don't want a leader who is always right. They want a leader who's always themselves.
Yes, sir.
So trying to really feed into that and be just who I am. Like, I'm not super vocal. Sometimes it's required that I am. It's basketball. It's a team game. You got to talk. Not that I'm a huge fan of that, but at some points you got to push a little bit out of your comfort zone. But also at the same time, like, lead and be who you are. You can't try and force it, or else it just doesn't seem genuine. So,
right. No, that's good. That's good. Who are some leaders? You mentioned a few, Draven and Wolf, but who are some leaders that have shaped kind of your leadership style and how you go about things?
Yeah, I think a big one is probably my dad. Just kind of seeing not only how he interacts with like his family, his wife, but just the people around him. Like, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always putting others before himself. And kind of like me, he's not the most outspoken guy. He's a little bit more quiet and laid back. But when the moment arises, like, he'll step up, he'll be vocal. And I think that's been a big impact on me in my life. Just seeing the way that he respects others. He wants to bring others along with him. He doesn't just want the success himself. Like, he wants others to be joined in it. And I think that's been a big impact on me. And then, like you said, kind of my coaches over the past couple of years, Coach Draven, Coach Wolf. And then I had a AAU coach too, who had a big impact. Coach Ballman was his name. Just kind of I'd say that was the more vocal aspect. He got me to come outside myself a little bit, kind of open up. But yeah.
Ryan, you got anything? Trent, Pilots, we're 10-1 right now. How's the team feeling? What are the goals? What's your goal personally for the rest of the season?
Yeah. I mean, I think our big goal is that red banner. We had 3 and 4 years or something like that. Haven't had one since.
Yeah.
So I think that's our biggest goal. But I think day by day, just process is one of our core values this year. Just taking it one day at a time, trying to get better and better. We got two really good teams coming up, Florida Memorial and Ave Marie. So both of them really good, top 25. I know at least one of them is. And then, just taking it day by day. That, like I said, that red banner at the end looks really nice. I had a chance senior year of high school, kind of make a run for state until COVID hit. And so now this is kind of revenge tour, I guess.
That's right.
I get another shot at a trophy, at a plaque. So I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. Well, Trent, it's great talking to you, man. Tell the Pilots I say hello.
Of course.
Keep Al in check for me. I know he can run his mouth a lot. So, but yeah, great to hear from you, man. Thanks for doing this. Trent, you're a great friend of mine, great leader, and just super proud of you, man. So keep going. I'm excited. I'll be following along.
Yeah, I appreciate it, y'all. Thanks for having me on here. It was great talking to you.
At least Mom will be listening.
So if you bring up Connor Stallions,